Look at this, back together. I just love seeing you at a table together. I mean, I see all of you all the time doing amazing things, but here you are. How does it feel to actually be sitting down and now like spending a chunk of time together?
So fun.
We love it.
So nice.
We've known each other for over 20 years, and the friendship is deep, and it's gotten deeper doing this show, and we
have a text chain that goes on all day long.
And we'll literally be like, I'm going to be doing one thing for 1 hour. I'll be back in 1 hour, and then you can't even make the hour. And I was like, okay, now I'm really not looking at my phone. Yeah, it's been really wonderful just to have two women that I've known my whole life now, and go through something and have fun and
spread joy.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like, you know, a lot of us when we started, I mean, and Kerry has done so many Broadway shows, so she was sort of the pro.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Belle, Beauty and the Beast, I saw
yeah,
that.
that's what I first saw her in before I met her.
First of all, I knew you from Ruthless, where you were an insane child.
Yes.
I knew you as Belle, and I knew you as the girl in the drive-thru in American Beauty.
I did Grease for 4 years. I love that, like, no one counts that one.
Everybody did Grease.
But I did it the whole time. I was in it from the beginning to the end.
Oh, you weren't in it when I saw it.
I did it from 95 to the end of 98.
Okay, I'm sorry. But I remember you really distinctly
I know.
from the
Just kidding.
drive-thru,
Of course.
and I said, that girl's going to be in Hairspray.
I love that. Yes, of course.
But yeah, so as you were saying.
So, you know, when we were young, we came up together in a lot of ways where we had some minor success prior, but like, you know, to have a core foundational friendship with a lot of people in this show, but especially with us, and then to go on and do this or that and the other. This friendship, these are the girls that we were then. We know each other that way. And yet now we share this other common bond of motherhood together and life experience and all of that. But it's nice to have people remind you who you are.
Yeah. I would say for me, like Kerry and I, because Kerry is my penny, we were really close during the show.
Yeah.
And like Laura was Amber, so I wanted nothing to do with Laura
hated
Bell.
Amber.
Like I hated her. And I was like always in character, so I was like, Laura. But like Laura and I became very close after Hairspray. And also just like, and I just admire her and watching everything she's done, and same with Kerry, and I've just been admiring her career. So like to now be at this place together has been really like, I always say it's like honoring my childhood joy of theater. It's like what I wanted to be when I was a kid, and now I'm getting to do it with my best friends. So it's been really just wonderful.
This is Marissa's first time back in on a New York stage since she won the Tony for
I know,
Hairspray.
what the heck?
I know, what the
What the
heck?
heck?
I know. I know, it's really hard.
You've been doing very well in LA.
No, I did other
Booked and
things.
busy.
Yeah, I did other
Became
things.
a mom, did tons of TV shows.
I mean, you've all become moms. I mean, like, and you were handed this beautiful title, I'm a Big Girl Now, which is like your incredible song in the show.
Thank you, Mark and Scott.
I mean, what?
Thank
I mean,
you. We love you.
I mean, who was the first person to be like, wait, this is obviously the title?
It was me and Kerry. We were doing a concert together, and we were like, "If you talk to Marissa, blah blah blah." And then I don't know. I really don't remember which one of us.
But it was
like
we saw it was the 20th anniversary. We're like, we should do a concert for the 20th anniversary. And we have the video of Laura and I calling Marissa to pitch her the idea.
and she did not respond.
Yeah.
I didn't get the video.
Like a year.
I only just saw the video for the first time like last week. I never got the video. And then a year later, Laura called me and asked me to do something, and she's like, you know, me and Kerry called you and asked you to do this thing. And I was like, let's do this thing. And the minute they said, let's do this, I was like, this is the best idea ever. And it was like full steam ahead.
Yeah, Marissa took over.
And then I was like, we are going to be at New World Stages. And they were like, I'm like, we are doing this.
She manifested it.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been
Bippity
following
boppity.
this project on social media. It's been really fun to watch it come together. You did some gigs out of town, and now you're in New York for a run at New World Stages. What is the show? So you all have many amazing credits to talk about and sing about, and you know, there's a lot to do. So how did you actually conceive a show?
Well,
We did it over Zoom.
We did it
By
over Zoom.
the way, you're all directors now too. You've all directed things.
Yeah. So we're directing it. Really, we wrote it.
Producing
we're producing it. We're doing it. Like
we put our money into
We put our money into it. We're like at marketing meetings, and we're like, pick up. We are starting the marketing meeting now, and like it's been really, that's been, I think, the most thrilling part of it.
And
like,
stressful.
And stressful, but like the learning curve has been like amazing. But we started on a Zoom, and we basically were like, everybody had their one-woman show. We're like, what do you do in your show? What do you do in your show? And then
they just flowed.
everything just were like,
they flowed and they evolved, and we were able to tell stories about our origin stories of each of us as children, to Hairspray, to our first impressions of each other, to Hairspray itself, to our lives and careers after, and finding love and becoming mothers, all through popular songs that you would recognize or that you know us for, without saying, and then I did this show.
yeah,
You
there
know,
is none of that.
It's a story.
It's a story
It's a
that's
special
crafted
event.
with music that you recognize, and little comedy bits, and obviously we have
like a variety
ton
show.
of props.
Like, there's not a bit Laura Bell misses. Like, Laura Bell, if there's a bit to be had, like, poor Kerry. Kerry will leave us alone for 2 minutes, and she'll come back, and we're like, we have 8 more bits. And then Kerry's like, oh my gosh. But, like, we literally, like, and then she'll come in, and she's like, what? Like, we all have been really,
Yes.
it's been the most collaborative and the most, you know, if something I do that someone doesn't like, it's like, oh, maybe try it this way. And very kindly and helping, and there's no ego.
We realize that we can't have the objectivity ourselves, and we have to be lovingly giving each other notes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also really lucky that you all got cast in Hairspray when you were actual, really young teenagers. So you're still, you know, young and fresh. Which,
Young teenager, old teenager.
I remember
19.
I
Borderline
remember when it said that, because I was 29 when I did the final, when the show came out, and I remember when someone in like Seattle was writing an article about it, and it was like 29-year-old Marissa, and Margot Lyon called me and was like, who told them you were 29? Why did you tell them you were 29? I'm like, I don't know. They just asked how old I was. Like, I didn't know like the game at the time, and I was like, whatever. I remember her being furious with me.
so obviously, Hairspray was a huge opportunity for all of you. You were very young, up-and-coming actresses. You were playing Tracy Turnblad, who was the star, and you won a Tony Award. So a little bit of applause for that.
Thank you.
Is there naturally rivalry between young actresses? Have you ever been up for parts
Not us.
against each other?
Oh, we
since?
are.
Very have, yeah. Now we got a good story.
I was thinking you two probably have been in the
story,
same room
Gary.
together.
Well, so I did, you know, the very first reading of Legally Blonde. I recorded all the demos.
That's right.
And then one day, Laura's calling me up on the phone in her car, like, Kerry, I'm listening to you on the demos for Legally Blonde. You sound amazing. Like, I'm going into audition.
I was clueless, I think.
You were like, oh.
I remember a time, you know, when Kerry and I shared a dressing room during Hairspray.
Yeah.
And when we were doing Hairspray, there was a lot of interest in all of us for television, and we'd get sent pilots. We go in for the same pilots, and we would read with each other to help each other with the lines for the same role and help give each other notes. We approach
So
things
differently.
so differently, and I think we both have a natural enthusiasm of life that we both share in our
So that's
material.
why we would get stuff,
But we definitely approach it differently, and I think we're always just each other's champions. Like, we want each other to win, and we believe that you get the roles you're supposed to get.
It was such an ensemble show that, like, my biggest joy was like setting Kerry up to get her laugh. My
Yeah.
biggest joy was like setting up, because I always said Tracy was like the engine. I just like, it was like laugh, laugh, laugh. I'm gonna keep going with the story. Laugh, 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 keep going on with the story. But like, that was the show. And like, so I don't think we had that in our show, because everybody got to shine. Like, our ensemble all got to shine. I mean, all of our all of the stars that came out of our ensemble was because they all got to shine in the ensemble. So we didn't have that. I know, like, in the past, Laura and I have, like, I've been like, oh, I've got this audition for something, and she had the same one. I'm like, well, if they want Laura Bell Bundy, they're not hiring me. So
I
like,
remember showing up on a lot and seeing you, and we're auditioning for the same thing, and we're like, they don't know what they want.
They don't know what they want. They clearly don't. If like we're both up for
Right,
it, they don't know what
right.
they want. So it's never about, oh God, I hope I get this over Laura. I'm like, oh, this has nothing to do with us, you know. And I think that's something good to teach young actresses, because, and I say it and they always get mad at me, not mad at me, but I say it a lot, but I'm like, it's okay for 3 of us to be like sparkling and shining on stage together, and the better Kerry is, the better our show is, the better Laura is, the better our show is, and it's like good for the show.
Exactly. And it really is, you are in a competition with yourself. You just have to go in to whatever your audition or your performance is, and connect with your material and be as creative as possible and commit to your character and not think of anything else. It's not about anybody else.
That's easy to see from this perspective today, but when you're in the moment,
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
But I do think Hairspray did lend that to be able to us to. I've been in other things where I'm horribly jealous of other people. Like, I'm not saying that I'm never jealous of people, but I think the basis of our friendship started in a place of we all
Camaraderie.
Yes, a very camaraderie situation. Exactly.
Yes. I love that now that you're looking back on it, you've all had incredible moments since Hairspray. So I think that's really helpful because you can kind of just look and be like, oh my God, look at everyone keeps having moments. I mean, like, it keeps happening. So
And we cheer each other on, and we vote for Marissa on Dancing with the
oh
Stars.
my God,
and
what about that triumph?
Oh, and all of it.
So are you officially the best dancer of the three of you?
For sure better than me.
Well, duh, Kerry. Laura's the best dancer.
Yes.
Laura's the best dancer. Kerry's not the best dancer, and I'm in the middle.
What? Oh my God, I'm picturing all your Penny Pingleton.
Perfect. Like, they come
Having you here,
baby.
I mean, that was an incredible performance. You all were great in
Yeah.
those roles. But what was it like watching actresses? When you create those roles, obviously it was based on the movie, but it was so different than the movie in so many ways. But now you've seen so many actresses sort of take those roles and run with them. What's it like? Have you encountered that over the years and watched, other actresses do like Penny and?
I think it's really fun just that we had such a creative hand in
Yeah.
those parts. And so, like some stuff that I did was like, I'm doing a puppet show underneath the blackboard and it wasn't even in the script or
Right.
anything. And then to go and it's like here, and they're doing the puppet show, like it's in the script now. So that it's just like one of my most creative parts, I feel like.
Yeah.
That and the stuff with the gum and all that,
God, Miss Legendary.
I've gone and seen other productions, and the one that just went out with Nina West, I went to when it was in LA, and I love Nina West. I was so excited to see it, but it was so interesting because it was the exact same show.
Yes.
Like the blocking was the same, the
Yes.
dancing was the same. It was. I mean, Matt Lenz put it up, and it's Jack O'Brien's direction and Jerry Mitchell's choreography and the costumes, everything's the same. And you're watching it, but it's that funny thing where you're like, oh my God, I don't even know if they know like why I make that move, right? Like, because I figured out, like, it came from like me going, I want to be over here now, and I wonder like, do they get the opportunity to be able to be like, this is what's leading me to here, or is it just here to be, that's your blocking, and then figuring out? Like, we figured out the blocking from organically, this is where I go, whereas now people are putting the show on, and I think they're doing it the opposite way, like, this is my blocking, and then finding, why do I go there, right? But it's still like, I had a great time, I was like happy to see it up, I was happy to see them doing it, I loved Nina West's take on it, I loved the Tracy, and I'm so, like, now 22 years now, if I'd seen it 5 years after I did it, I might not have loved it as much. But 22 years later, I'm like, this is the best show ever,
And then you can go back and meet the kids.
And then I went back and
Tony winner going to meet the new kids.
I did. They had a sign. They were like, photos with Marissa Winokur this way. And literally, like, we took the picture home, the sign home, and put it in my house. So, like, it's in my house. Like, photos with Marissa this way.
I loved the Hairspray Live that Jerry Mitchell did.
Yeah.
The choreographer
Yes.
for it.
Yeah.
That
With
was
Kenny
one of my-
Leon.
With
Yeah.
Kenny Leon.
Yes. They did a great
And
job.
that was Duff Cameron was my favorite Amber
Oh,
that
okay.
I've seen. I thought she was really creative and thoughtful, and it was grounded and it was nasty, but in a really fun way.
I love that one.
And she sang it so well, and so she was my favorite. But the crazy thing is, Brittany Snow, who was in the Travolta movie, I was on Guiding Light with her.
Oh, wow.
When I was 18 to 20, and we were friends. So then, of course, I was so excited that this friend of mine was playing
Wow.
this role. And like Kerry, like, there were things that we had created. There were lines we came up with,
Sure.
and when they make the movie, and you're like, I came up with that line. It's a wild it's a wild thing.
Yeah.
But Hairspray is never not joyful. It's never not wonderful
Yeah.
to see.
Yes.
And I have to admit, and no offense to anybody else who's ever played Tracy Turnblad, I can never not be happy with anybody that it's not Marissa Winokur doing that part.
Yeah.
Or Kerry. it's never as funny.
Yeah.
But I'm completely biased.
That's your bias.
Obviously.
But it is interesting you said like that tour was a version of the same staging.
Yeah.
Do you think that there is, I've had this conversation with people, there's a lot of talk about Hairspray coming back
Yes,
finally to
it
Broadway.
should.
Do you think that there's a chance to reinvent it slightly and make it different? Or do you like that template? You know, you look at something like a course line, right? People love the
Right.
original course line.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I have a way that if I were...
You're all directors.
If, I
You all
were, if
directed
they were like,
things.
here, Marissa, how would you direct Hairspray if it came back in 2024, right? I personally, like, I love the original. I love what it is.
Yeah.
But I would love to see, because we've changed so much since 2002, right? Like the world has changed so much, and I would love to see a Hairspray version of it, like a little dirty. Like it could still be all the same words, all the same songs, but like a little gritty, a little dirty, a little like the original movie, like a John Waters-y,
Yeah.
like a little like the dialogue wouldn't have to change and the songs wouldn't have to change, but a little darker, a little more like not as cotton candy,
More
but
subversive.
yeah, just because I feel like the audiences are. We want cotton candy. When in 2002, it was right after September 11th. We needed just bring
Yes.
joy, just bring happiness.
Yeah.
And I feel like the younger audience now might relate more to something a little like
More subversive.
a little more
Yeah.
That's I would be like, ooh, do it a little darker. The color's a little more like Baltimore real.
So is there interest in playing Velma, Prudy, and Edna?
Zero interest from me. I wouldn't touch that role with a 10-foot pole.
Harvey Firestein wouldn't let you.
I would.
There was talk about cis women playing that
really?
part at some
of course
point,
there was.
right?
I do. I remember them talking about Roseanne doing it at one point.
I remember hearing
I remember
different
that
names.
too.
Yeah.
I personally just wouldn't want to. I mean, maybe female authority figure, but still probably I wouldn't want to do that. But I would love to see a Velma and a Prudy right here.
Oh my God. I don't know.
You would be so
Oh my
good
God, you
as
as
Velma.
Velma, be such, I mean,
I would-
it's Baltimore crabs right here. You could
I
pull that
would
off.
have fun.
You
But
would be
again,
good as Prudy, too. Like, just all your characters, all the characters
fair.
that she does.
That's fair. That's fair. You'd be good as
No,
Prudy.
no.
I don't think I would. I don't think you would.
do.
That's kind of what you,
You
did
would
in
have
Mean
an
Girls.
interesting
You could give-
take.
Yeah,
You-
you would be.
you-
Oh my God, you'd be such a good Prudy.
That would be to fill Jackie Hoffman's
know.
shoes.
I know.
Would
I think
be
all of them.
so stressful.
Yeah, hard to fill Linda
Yeah.
Hart's shoes.
Coming up with
too.
a joke every night.
Oh.
Oh, I know. God.
was the
would get
original.
stressed out about that sometimes too.
So what is your favorite of each other's, except for your Hairspray role, do you have any other favorite roles you've seen each other do?
I mean, I
Obviously,
I
yeah.
saw Legally Blonde back in, literally, I went to her first out of town in San Francisco.
I saw you in
we were
San
there.
Francisco.
I flew in, me and my
Yeah.
husband flew in, and we were like there for the first night. Like
Yeah.
I watched, not only do I love Legally Blonde from when she did it, I watched the MTV filmed
Yeah.
version, and that's what I worked out to. And all through COVID, I would be like videotaping. I'd be like, I'm gonna start Legally Blonde at the very beginning, and I would just like walk on the treadmill, and then I'd run during a
amazing.
song. I mean, you can watch the whole
Yeah, I know. It's all on
thing.
YouTube.
And that's what I would do.
And I was at opening night for that. And it's still fun to even watch her do it in our show. And also, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I could do that.
You would have done it differently.
No,
You would have done it.
No dancing.
crap out of it.
Well, and then, so Carrie's done so. Listen, Carrie's done so many things. I loved Catch Me If You Can because I love.
Oh, me too.
I
Oh, you
loved
were
her in Catch Me If You Can.
so good in that.
So good. But in our show, she does some from Little Shop of Horrors,
Yes.
and I remember loving her in it. But in our show, I'm like, oh my God, it's so fantastic, and I just like she's like such a perfect Audrey. Like it's so
It's
beautiful to
vulnerable.
watch, and I just love getting to see that every night. So
But
yeah.
can I?
Melissa.
Marissa, I mean, you can't top Hairspray.
Yeah,
No,
you can't
you
top
can't
Hairspray.
top
What I mean,
I
what,
mean, it's
what
just
is-
like a dream
I mean, she was
role. It's
amazing in
everything.
Big Brother too. I like when Marissa gets to be salty.
Yeah.
Right,
On TV
like
a lot of.
in TV, and
So much
and
stuff.
you know, Tracy's so bubbly and
Yeah.
all this, but we know that girl.
We know that's not
And
me.
so when I
Real
get to
weird.
see her, we actually got to do a show together. We did Perfect Harmony
Yeah.
together.
And I was salty. I was
too.
I was
actually-
a salty Southern woman, and I had big blue eyeshadow, and she was awful. She was the worst. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
she was awful. But I get to in this show because unlike my girlfriends here, I haven't done as much Broadway musicals that people like they want to see me do Hairspray, but then I do some gypsy stuff. I do some Ethel Merman stuff because that's what made me want to do musical
Yeah.
theater, right? So as a child, I didn't dream of being Tracy Turnblad. I didn't have a perky, cheerful voice. I was Ethel Merman. I want to be Ethel Merman, and I'd play her records, and that's what I'm going to be. And then Tracy came out of getting the role and figuring out what a 60s
Yeah.
that sound would come from. So that voice that I do for Tracy was actually Eric Vitro and I figured out what is that perfect sound for Tracy Turnblad that now became like my iconic voice sound, but that's not how my gut sings. So it's like a very interesting thing.
Oh, you should hear her do
So you're saying Mama Rose is at New World Stages?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, yeah.
I've always thought, I hate just waiting for the next Gypsy Revival to see who gets to play it. And I'm excited to see Audra, but I always thought there should just always be Gypsy at New World Stages, and then all of you could do Mama Rose. I want to see everyone do it for like a month at a time.
I agree.
Right?
When I walked into the stage, when I walked into that stage the first time, I was like, oh, this would be a fun place to play Gypsy, like to do Mama Rose, because you're so like it's so vulnerable. It's not a 1,200 seat theater.
Yeah.
You know, working in bigger theaters, you're like, this is so fun, but then getting to come to an intimate space like this,
It's tiny.
it's a tiny space, but it's such an experience. And the first night we walked out, and I was like, y'all, we need to step back. We are way too close to these people. And they're like, you won't be in the light if you step back. I'm like, we need to step back. Like, we need to see everyone. I was like, oh my God. But then like our third preview, I literally was like, now I'm singing to your face. Like now I'm like, okay, I'm not scared. And I'm picking people to sing lines to. And I'm like, oh, it's making it so much more fun for me to like, it makes it more of a like audience participation, even though they don't choose to be participating. But I'm like, oh, I'm going to sing this right to you, and it's making it like I have an ensemble person to play with, and I'm just loving that.
At this point in your life, you have all matured so much since doing Hairspray. You have families, you have kids, you have totally different lives. What is it like? And I know, women, as they get older, they really start to lean on their female friendships, especially in the world we live in. There's a lot of sort of stuff going on, and we need each other. What is it like to get this opportunity and to just get to be joyful together and celebrate this friendship?
Our main goal was to spread joy with this show. We were like, there's so much going on in the world. We just want 90 minutes where the people could come, feel together, feel connection, see each other's humanity, laugh, and see themselves represented on stage as working women,
mothers, friends.
Yeah.
If there's
Fulfilling our
sisterhood,
dreams.
Yeah.
nostalgia.
Yes.
You get to hear the hits while you experience the friendship and the formation of that friendship, and then the three of us becoming moms, and we celebrate motherhood, but we also talk about the woes of it. This has been a really you're right going
God.
I'm always the one that goes into tears.
She cries every day, every
night
show.
during the show.
At a different time, I look over, I'm like, oh my God, Laura!
During rehearsal, she cries every single time.
Well, here's the thing. I'm sentimental.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can't listen to Kerry Butler sing Somewhere That's Green or Part of Your World Without Crying.
Yeah.
Okay?
And Laura
I
can
have
prove
to
that.
sing For Good with her. And I'm singing with one of my deepest, most soulful friends I've ever had in my life. Singing that song with her, now I can get through it,
Yeah,
right?
you can,
It's
you
been
can.
better. We've done it enough.
Pretty much.
But in the beginning, I'd have to go
Look away.
without telling jokes before it. But I'm sentimental because, I've got to a point in my life where I don't have time for new friends, right? I want to cultivate the relationships that I have, and trust. It takes time to build trust, and that's what we've got. And so I like continuing to cultivate this friendship And it's, you know, it's deeper now than it ever has.
Yeah.
I will say to them, like, every night, I get super sappy. They know that. Like, I'm cold as a, you know, I got my heart's this big, but the show's made me open my heart. I say I'm like the Grinch. This show's made my heart grow 3 sizes. But like, I'm so grateful that I have them in my life at this time in my life as a, like, on the second half of my life, to have such strong friendships to go through what we're all going through in our like lives and our journeys, not just doing this show, but also just like to talk to someone who's like, oh no, I totally get it. I'm on the same page. Like I'm so grateful to have friends that I can lean on, and also like know to like step off when I'm like having a bad day. They're like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, but it's we've always been friends, but to now have doubled down and have this connection at this time, I'm like, oh, I needed this. I really needed this.
It really is sisters.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. Like,
We fight.
Oh my God, like, this
and
one.
we make up just as fast as we do.
I was painting something, and this one literally was like, she was gonna do it.
For the show.
For the show.
The set.
I wasn't going to do it. I hired
She
somebody.
was going to hire someone to do it, but
they
it
weren't
didn't-
there.
And they weren't there. So then I drove into the city, got the sets, brought them home, and me and my friend Chad, we were painting them. But she was like, "Well, you need to get a sander." And I'm like, "I'm not sanding this. You need to prime it. I'm not priming it. Well, just get a little hand sander." I'm like, "I'm not doing that." And then she kept going, and then finally, what?
You were like, do you want to just do it? Do you want to
I was
drive
like,
in the city and go pick it up?
And she goes, "Now don't be a bitch." And I was like, but it was like so. But I was so.
And what did you do?
I got a little sander. We primed it. They look perfect. But she was like, "All right, Marissa, don't be a bitch." And I was like, uh-huh. But like, it's so great to not also be worrying about like watching what you're saying. And I mean, like, listen, everybody has their close friends, but to get to reconnect with people in this second portion of my life, I'm 50. And to have friends that are like at that same place, raising children and families and just dealing with the world together, it's making me want to come back to New York and do a show.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad this show came along for the three of you, but I'm more glad for me because I can't wait to see it. This is such a treat. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Great to see you.